Okay, I'm not crazy.
It's real. It happened.
Yeah, it happened. So how they did that, how they essentially shut down Facebook, was that the hackers hacked into smart TVs and closed captioning cameras, and they basically just denial of service. They pinged these servers so much so that there was essentially all this plaque in the arteries that prevented the networks from connecting properly, and effectively shut down millions of users from using these platforms. Because oftentimes with their Apple TVs or Roku devices or other Internet of Things devices, they're prone to security hacks, because how often is the firmware updated or the passwords updated? We don't really think about those things. You just turn them on and you go. You don't change your passwords. So they are susceptible to hacks. Now imagine billions of these devices in running your home, automating your home. Well, security is a huge, huge, huge issue. And blockchain helps to mitigate that. If all of these devices are registered on the blockchain, then it becomes almost impossible, if not impossible, for hacks to occur. Let's move on here. So, a lot of people are proposing these really interesting solutions to IoT leveraging blockchain. For example, here we have this kind of universal ledger where you would register a device on a blockchain, like your refrigerator or your washing machine or your alarm clock. And then there'd be a smart contract that would enable you to interact with the other devices. So you essentially give permission to say, all right, I'm okay with my TV interacting with my refrigerator. I don't know why you would ever do that, but perhaps there's a cooking show happening, and whatever you're watching on the TV talks to the refrigerator, which then sends a signal to Amazon that says, oh, he's watching, Chef's Table, and they're talking about Venezuelan cuisine or something like that, and this person really wants to eat this particular food, and then a driver shows up at your front door, and all those transactions happen automatically, autonomously, because you've given permission for these devices to exchange those funds without any intermediaries or third party, because the network itself is the trust. Some really crazy stuff here. I mean, I'm just making things up ad hoc, because people really aren't inventing, well, not yet, at least. I guess there's a couple of companies, one of which is Socket, something.
Oh, Socket? I mean, yeah, Socket, I think they died. Their idea was basically be Airbnb. So if you wanted to gain access into a house, you would go to some site, you're like, oh, this house is letting me go in, or if they charge me 100 Ether. So I make the transaction, and now I, my phone, can go up to the lock and unlock it for the duration of the whole day.
Right.
And that's automatically without having anyone in the middle.
Yeah, and for those of you who are worried about the tracking of your identity, as we talked about earlier, there could be specific kind of code written in that obscures your identity. So although the database is transparent, everyone can see that stuff, you can actually have a smart contract with the people who would otherwise collect that data and share whatever data you're comfortable with, but in return, earn money from that, which is really, really cool. So that's part of the token utility. Yes, sir.
Is it possible to link biometrics with your ledger?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to make a device that is recording that and then submitting that sort of stuff.
Okay, so here's a bunch of different devices. We got phone, vending machine, cell phone, smart scale, an oven. Now think of all of these interesting ways that these devices can talk to one another. Right? And can anyone think of I'm sure there's some creative folks in here. Anyone can think of an interesting application for this? Yes. You in the back.
You tie Ethereum wallet to your car, and then you drive through, it automatically pays for the orders, so you don't have to actually do the transaction part. And
how about a garage door too? Like when you go to one of these buildings, you just kind of walk up to it, there's the car and the thing has a sensor.
Sure.
You have funds, it'll just do it automatically, you just walk on it.
Yeah, we're thinking
of a parking meter, it automatically connects to the parking meter.
Yeah, more tickets.
Exactly how many minutes or park track.
Yep. Exactly. No more 10 cents over. No more 15 minutes for the person that comes in behind you. How's that for old?
It can be for mundane things, like when an airplane lands at a terminal, right? Normally there's a bunch of people kind of managing that, like, oh, like my plane arrived, I have to pay $1,000 to the airport. Well, what if like there's just a sensor at the terminal, the airplane has like a sensor on the nose, and the airplane has that ether or some sort of currency inside of it. When they meet, they go, oh hey, you're an airplane, cool, you owe me 1,000 ether. And the airplane goes, sure, right?
Devices paying devices.
Now, there's no longer a person or human kind of managing that. If someone, instead of having a team of 30 accountants, you can probably just have like 4 or 5, because someone's probably has to look at it. They could just be managing and like seeing what's going on versus like, oh yeah, we have that $100,000 bill for LAX.
Think of an alarm clock. Right? I did a little hour toying with this idea the other day. Think of an alarm clock where if you let's say, oh, I want to get up and I want to be Tony Robbins, so I want to get up at 4:30 in the morning and like, do some breathing exercises or whatever Tony Robbins is.
Go to high school.
Yeah, there you go. And you want to get up at 4:30. Well, you could have an alarm clock where you have a contract with the alarm clock that says if you wake up at this time, you earn coin that can then be traded to do other things. And if you don't, you could be punished. That coin is taken away from you, right? So now we have these kind of incentivization tools to change people's behavior based upon economical gain theory. It gets kind of crazy. If you really think about it, obviously we have. Any of these devices could essentially incentivize proper behavior or healthy behavior, like an exercise equipment.
So you need other things like a thermostat, for example, that also talks to the air conditioner.
It's already kind of doing that, right?
And yeah, I mean,
iHome is it? No. Nest. That's right. Nest is a nice example of that.
Yeah, except I don't think they pay for anything, they just manage it. But that system could also start paying your air conditioner, which also pays your electricity bill.
Right. Imagine your thermostat directly paying your electricity bill.
So your home, you just go and like you just charge a bunch of devices. You can probably have like a managing app, and you go like you can actually see like, oh yeah, I'm low on my electricity, so I should call it like give it some ether to manage it. And it's good for everybody because now the electricity company doesn't have to like hedge a 30-day bet against everybody, right? Because they're going to get paid on, let's say, an hour or interval or day interval, whatever it is, right? So now all those like extra like edge cases of chargebacks, late payments, all kind of go away. There could still be some sort of system for that kind of thing, but that now it just depends on the electricity company deciding if they want to implement that. So.
Yeah, think about whenever we're not using certain devices, like a car. When we're at the office and we're working, the car sits in the parking lot all day long, and you're basically still paying for it. Well, there could be a system like a Uber 3.5 that says, well, I know my car is talking to the network, and the car has told the network that I'm at work and I'm no longer using that car. So that car then talks to other drivers in the network to say, hey, we're available. You can actually use my car when I'm in the office. And the person who's essentially renting out his car gets paid that coin automatically by the car. And the person who's operating that Uber, if you will, while the person's at work, gets paid directly by the car. So there's Gollum, which is a coin that's kind of doing that. It's using distributed, it's like a distributed server that uses extra hard drive space on your personal computer. And you earn coin by letting anyone in the network use that spare space in your hard drive that now you're not earning any money on. There's value that's created there that you can get paid in Gollum coin, which then can be traded for Bitcoins or Ether or anything else.
And one distinction I'd like to make is most of these things that we're saying could also be implemented right now, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Is everyone going to be like right now, the service that Jason just described could be done?
It just needs people to build it. That's it.
Well, I'm trying to get it like now instead of having that business installed, it's literally just some code, right? Instead of having a whole business that's kind of processing all those transactions and doing it for you, it could just be some code that you install in your car with a sensor that will receive those funds.
And you might be worried about, oh, where do all the jobs go? The accounting and the marketing and all this. If you have this autonomous contract running all of these things that are otherwise done by human beings. Well, don't know the math on this, and certainly I'm kind of making it up as I go along, but I would say that the value created in these automated smart contracts would replace the need for people to work those kinds of jobs. Because right now, that value is underutilized, if not utilized at all. So not only would it replace the jobs, it would also create new value systems, new ways of capturing, creating, allocating, distributing value in all of these really interesting and creative ways.
So now, like, do you ever go to the ice cream shop, peddlers, like down like on Broadway or something? They actually have this cool little thing where if you like ride the bicycle for like 10 minutes, they give you an ice cream. So they're literally just like that, except for most of the actions that you can kind of partake. So for example, maybe we could be earning like meetup coins because we hold these meetups, right?
Yeah,
and when you guys come in, we can keep track of like, yeah, meetup, but like, yeah, you're generating, you're facilitating knowledge, and you can generate that. That'd be like fun for us to kind of make money instead of having
facilitation of knowledge coin. Oh, I like that one. Yes.
How will the devices adjust for the supply and demand? If the supply goes up, you know, how do you know what you're doing?
Math.
It's built in.
I'm just gonna say math. Yeah.
So is it built in?
I guess we have to clarify what do we mean by taking into account supply and demand.
If I pay 1 ether for my bill of electricity for a month, and the value of it goes up in the marketplace, how does it know to adjust?
So there could be a system or a service that you can subscribe to.
Stablecoin.
Yeah, it could be something like that, or there's there's something called an oracle, something that will integrate blockchain and off-chain, because blockchain literally knows nothing about anything besides what's inside of it. So there's this concept of having an oracle that will like check things on the off-chain, real life, and update values on-chain. So there could be a system like that that people can subscribe to. Now the benefit for an oracle is to be truthful. Because if I want to use an oracle from an electricity bill, I want to know that like I'm paying the right amount according to some system. But if I identify that like this oracle is lying to me, it's making me pay a lot, well, I can just use a different oracle. Right? So they're incentivized to be truthful rather than lying. So again, we're incentivizing good behavior.
Back, yes.
That kind of notion of like devices and machines basically incentivizing you, making you money. Do you guys envision maybe like Lyft or Uber partnering with like auto manufacturers to basically incentivize you to get certain vehicles, so when you are working your cars out there autonomously driving other people around?
Yes, I think it would. Yes.
That's a wonderful use case.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I want to take it one step further.
Okay, let's go.
But it would actually encourage the commoditization of all products in general, where it just all be based on pay-per-use. So you would own the car, the car would actually be licensed out in general. And so you would ride to your office, and then somebody else would pick it up and somewhere else.
Yeah, it's just like Uber doesn't own the cars that provide its value. You know, this could be like we don't own the devices in our lives that provide us value.
Maybe if you're paying for a billboard, if you're an advertiser, you would only have to pay for exactly how many cars drove by that specific billboard.
There you go.
And then you can get paid to drive a different route based off of
There you go. Now that's like multiple kind of smart contracts, you know, sort of coordinating a little bit depending on the usage that the people have.
And that's not science fiction. Like that's now. That's science
someone
reality.
kind of spend the time doing something like that.
Yep. And that's that again. It's kind of part of like what.
And the first step might just be, you know, just having to be able to pay for the time on the billboard. And then after that, it would be integrating sensors that, like, maybe the government puts everything. All cars have a sensor on it that the sign can detect, so it knows who comes and adjusts the price accordingly. Right? These are all kind of like phases, but it's entirely doable and can be done. Yeah.
If you have like this shared, as this example, like shared asset ledger, where on the ledger you log all of the things that you own, and kind of set the terms and conditions for how they communicate with the other device, what data or information you're okay sharing, what information you're not okay sharing, and that could be, what would that look like from the perspective of the user? Well, basically some fields where you type in some things, and maybe there's a drop-down menu. The idea is that all of the piping, the plumbing in the house is obscured behind the walls, right? Now, well, in this case, I guess you can see some of the plumbing, but in your house, it's not likely exposed like this. Well, the idea is that eventually, no one needs to know that this is blockchain-based. It's cool to talk about that now because it's so new.
they may not necessarily know it's blockchain. It'll just make sense, right?
Yeah.
It'll make sense to go like, oh, I need Uber coin. Oh, I really need Airbnb coin. And at some point, it's just going to make sense to what that means. People don't necessarily know how to connect, right, to the internet. They just go like, I have a modem thingy, and I have a router thingy, and I have to like type a password. Right? It's already been kind of like compartmentalized. In the future, that's what Jason's talking about. Like, they're not going to know. They're going to just know like, oh, I need that thingy, and I need that thingy.
For UX and UI designers, there's a huge opportunity to experiment with new ways to build the customer-facing view of what this will look like. It doesn't mean that the way in which we interact with the technology will be any different. It's just that now the way in which the value comes to us and the way in which we share that data can become monetized. Okay. All right, so let's see here. What other slides do I have? All right.
Yeah, so like open registry, I think you can think of like for knowing if something needs to be recalled or something, or knowing who's supposed to get a discount. So like if a sales company might go like, if we sell 100,000 of these washers, the people who bought it would get 10% back. And that could all just be manually put into the system. So people who buy the washer can know that that's a possible thing to happen. And if they manage to get register enough devices, that thing will, that limit will get reached, and then the funds will get redistributed to the back.
Right on. Any other, you guys got questions? Yes?
Yeah, I actually think that the most interesting aspect of IoT is how robots are beginning to evolve to have personal relationships with people. I just think it's quite interesting how that adds an entirely new operational dimension where people can actually begin to have sort of almost like a person-to-person relationship to their devices. It's just a food for thought.
Yeah, it'd be like the movie Her.
I was just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, once you start thinking IoT, blockchain,
AI,
artificial intelligence, virtual reality, like we're in this very exciting time now, guys, where a lot of this technology
They're all going to be slowly converging.
it's in the laboratory at the moment, but they're making some incredible breakthroughs in terms of merging these types of things to create killer apps beyond our wildest imagination. It's really fascinating. Yeah.
You kind of see this like interfering with, say, like Amazon or even Apple's plan, for instance, with your Alexa around the HomePod, Google Home. Like these are devices that get to know you based on your interests profiles, that have information that it would buy. You're locked into Prime, you're locked into Apple. With something more like open like this, you guys envision like like a kid in his garage making a device and having it ubiquitous because it's so open and we're not tied to a particular platform.
I friggin' hope so, man. I really do. I mean, it's not fair to talk about the internet anymore. It's Amazon, Google, and Facebook. Maybe some Apple, maybe some, it's a walled garden. And this enables a new open kind of garden where everyone can come and play and walk the dog or throw a frisbee. Not just the first players who have created these massive social networks that are closed systems. So yeah, you could in effect have a device on your table that you talk with, and the value of the data in an open network is exponential compared to a closed silo where you have just the Facebook information that's being collected over here, and just the Google information that's being collected over here. And it is in the best interests of those companies to keep that data walled away. They have the keys to which you do not have access, because that's the value that they use to train their artificial intelligences and machine learning, to do some really crazy stuff, image recognition that they're doing now. They don't want to share that data, but that is, in a sense, kind of hindering the kind of growth that could happen if all of us are using these devices. And so various companies that are living on top of the blockchain protocol can have access to all of the data that all of those companies are sharing, with certain contingencies or smart contracts written in that say, well, you can only access this kind of data and this kind of thing. And if you want more of that, then you have to pay for it. Right? The companies right now, they don't pay us to use those networks.
So like, for example, for the iPhone or whatever, there could be a company that makes a large bet to just give some value back to you, right? It's just amount of information that you're providing the system, and you can earn it by providing some amount.
It's interesting to think about like how the culture itself is community of like the whole system. People get to know you. The change when like maybe all the other companies are getting to know you on Facebook profiles ultimately converge and spend money, obviously. But on a more open network, maybe people will make things that it's not the sole purpose.
And it'd be nice to like have some sort of service or something like in the future where you say, hey, I own or whatever it is, pay the thermostat underneath it. And that's all you have to do to kind of move your funds.
Yeah, this technology will enable almost kind of communal tribalism that is very fundamental to human social interaction that right now is not exploited, or certainly is not the case. This will enable the 75% of the world, the multi-billions of people in the world who do not have access to basic financial services, which basically means a bank account or access to credit. If you have an open system where the network itself is the trust, so there's no need for third-party intermediaries taking a cut out of those transactions, all you really need, and I think there's like 2.2 billion people in the world who have smartphones and access to the internet, but can't participate in the economy because they simply don't have access to those services in their respective countries because there's a lack of trust in the central government. Now, with a wallet, a simple wallet app on their phone, they can now participate in the economy. And this is going to create what I believe to be the greatest equitable distribution of wealth in human history, when now suddenly you have multi-billions of more people being able to contribute to the economy and essentially, this might sound a little idealistic, but reduce scarcity, which basically means that in order for me to succeed, I have to walk on other people. I have to exploit other people. Now, that goes away if everyone has access to wealth. If anyone can do business with anyone in the world without having to vet them, without having to hire attorneys, without having to have all these employees, well, an autonomous smart contract can run those operations and sit on top of the blockchain. The blockchain is the trust, and whatever value that the community decides upon, they can share and exchange in that value and benefit from it in ways that right now is impossible to do, or not impossible, because we have this technology. So what's amazing, guys, is we have a choice now. It's our bad if we don't do it, because we have a choice to create this world where everyone has access to participating in the economy, participating in wealth generation, and participating in creating value. And that could be an abstraction. It doesn't have to be selling a good or service. That value can be educational content, like we talked about.
Interactions.
Any kind of interactions can be monetized because there is value to the conversations that we're having here in this room right now. The conversations leading up to it. Right now, those cannot be captured. That value is just kind of in the ether. The gas that permeates the universe. That's actually Vitalik Buterin who wrote the white paper. That was his whole thing. Ethereum is a world computer that anyone can participate in. It doesn't matter really where you are in the world, what your background is. You can have a say in the direction of the protocols. So what we're trying to do is evangelize more people to get involved, to read up on it. I'm actually writing a blog post right now, which we'll put up on the HelloSugoi Twitter, probably. We're pretty active on there, about some resources to kind of get into the space. Some YouTube channels that I watch on a regular basis, very high-level blog posts, because I feel like, I can't answer all the questions that I'm asked these days. More and more friends are hitting me up and like, what's this whole Ether thing about? It's like, is it a get-rich-quick scam? No, it is not. Certain people who buy it early can benefit from that. Some people. Yes. But for the most part, it's much bigger than just that. It's much bigger than just the Ponzi scheme that some people are saying. Yes.
No, I just had a question about
Sure.
some of the challenges you've kind of faced in writing smart contracts. Like, where do you see a lot of the work is as being in that?
A lot of it's just kind of learning the language. Solidity is kind of different from a lot of components because everyone can see the code, you can't hide it, and there's rules to kind of interact with it. And you kind of have to really kind of go through a lot of different use cases and scenarios in order to kind of break the code. Because basically everyone's going to have that kind of problem. So there's a lot of permissioning logic, like this contract can only talk to this contract, or this contract can only talk to this contract if it came from this user. And that's kind of starts getting more and more complicated the more functions you have. So that's probably the hardest part. I guess making all the use cases, like thinking through them and writing test cases.